Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News East Bay Times, here with Joseph Dycus and Mike Lefkow. Guys, we've reached the finish line of the regular season. We're heading into week 11. How we all feeling? Tired, refreshed, ready for the playoffs?
We can't feel tired because the playoffs are almost here, right?
Well, the playoffs are here. The matchups will be announced on Sunday. In both the North Coast section and the Central Coast section. We'll be all over it with coverage over the weekend. Mike Lefkow, how you doing? It's always a good time of the year, right? When the playoffs start.
Well, we'll see how they go.
There's some formats that leave people scratching their heads.
Well, yeah. Now, North Coast section is talking about changing the format next year. There's, from what I understand, 3 different options on the table. And one of them would allow teams to move up and down a couple divisions, and it would create a little better scenario than you have now.
Right.
But
right.
I have no idea which one the section is likely to adapt.
Yeah, we've covered this enough where there's really no perfect system. And especially, now that we're in a competitive equity model in many of the sports, you see teams that win during the regular season get put in with teams that also win during the regular season, and then teams that finish lower in the standings go into divisions that are easier than even their the league champions. So, as Mark Crail, the Los Gatos coach, said, we could talk all night about that, or in this case, we could talk all day about it. And I don't see any changes happening anytime soon. At least, maybe in the NCS, we'll see. But
well, there are changes coming next season, so there might be some changes in the NCS. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see for sure. Mike Lefkow, your comments last week kind of stirred the pot a little bit outside of our little window here. I'm taking you don't regret saying that Serra might be the best team in Bay Area high school football history this season's version, given that we're 20 years removed from the 20 plus years removed from the end of the great De La Salle era, right? Or I'm doing my math wrong. What are we? 19 years removed from it. It ended in 2004, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Just your thoughts. I mean, it was there was some fireworks a little bit on Twitter, or X as they call it now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't regret what I said at all. In fact, I still think that way. Mm-hmm. I mean, people were talking about the problems that Serra had last week in beating Valley Christian. I think that was a good victory for Serra. I'm sorry, maybe I'm a little different. Okay, so they didn't go out and win by 40 points. But when it was 14-13 in the third quarter, they scored the last 10 points of the game. They had a 2-score victory. They had a good victory against a good team, a good program. They played that game at Valley Christian, and as you pointed out, the last 4 times I think Serra has played there, they've won by no more than 11 points in any of those games. I mean,
and lost 2 of them.
What's that?
They had lost 2 of the previous 4, including I believe there was like a 31-7 game in there or something like that where Serra lost. So that was something we neglected to point out last week. We got caught up in the Serra beat Reardon 53-7, and they hammered St. Francis and beat Mitty 42-0, and scoring a gazillion points and giving up very few. That we lost sight of the fact that going out to Valley Christian down in South San Jose is not an easy task for any team, even one as strong as Serra.
Well, I think every team is going to have a game or two where they don't go out and beat a team by 50 points. I mean, if that's the expectation for Serra, that's wrong. I mean, Serra's going to have games where they might have a little bit of a challenge. And that doesn't, to me, it doesn't diminish what they've done at all. And I mean, one of the comments was that I may have jinxed Serra with my comments. Well, okay. So we're going to jinx 16 teams today by picking them to win, I guess.
Hey, people get fired up about these picks. They watch, we hear, and it's all in fun, as we like to say. It's all in fun. I mean, would you rather us not make these picks? I think not, given the amount of reaction we get when we go out to these fields. It's refreshing, because we could be boring and say nothing and do nothing, and but we've gone out and we're making these picks, and back in my younger days, I was I didn't want to be part of the story, so to speak. I didn't want to, but you know what? We got to follow what the readers want and what our viewers want, and they like us making these picks. So darn it, we're going to make these picks, right, Joseph?
Right. And I mean, we go out to these games, and the coaches, sometimes assistant coaches, they might kind of like rag on us a little bit for picking against their team. But for the most part, I feel like everyone kind of realizes, we're doing this to, have some fun and start a conversation.
And to create interest in the sport.
Yeah.
And create interest in high schools, which is, our main objective here. I mean, clearly we see how many people are into it, and why we keep doing this. And, you're a hero at Los Gatos this week, Joseph. Mark Crail told me to give you a shout out for picking the Wildcats to defeat Wilcox. Mike Lefkow, you and I are, we were bulletin board material, which was fine.
But wait, hold. Because I picked them. Wouldn't that mean I potentially could have jinxed them if I picked Los Gatos to win?
Could have jinxed them, but instead, Mike and I jinxed Wilcox. We had 2 jinxes to 1.
Oh, and I guess mine was. Sense. I guess yours was stronger then.
Mike and I looked pretty good with about 2.5 minutes to go when Wilcox scored a touchdown, but not that we're out there rooting one way or another. I mean, we make these picks, like I said, all in fun. I just, when I go out to a game, I'm hoping that it's going to be a competitive, good game. So, and we're going to have hopefully some competitive, good games that we're covering this weekend. Anything else? We're going to open this forum up for a few minutes before
the only thing I have to say is that I think we say it at the beginning of the year, and we say it now again towards the end. It's kind of, I don't know what the right word is, but the southern part of the state, they're already got their playoff seeding and stuff. And up here, we've got still one more week. It'd be nice if every part of California was on the same timeline,
San Joaquin has already seeded their playoffs too. San Joaquin section.
Well, the North Coast section used to be a week ahead too, but wisely figured out that 16-team brackets for the playoffs are ridiculous in football. So they've gone down back to 8, which is following the CCS model with 8 teams in the brackets. No need for 16, although you don't want to punish teams. And Mike Lefkow, you've been on this, on air here and off air when we talk about the NCS. I mean, it's unfortunate that some good teams potentially are going to be left out of the NCS Division I playoffs because they put all those 11 teams in the pool before the season even starts. So we're going to see some good teams that are deserving of making the playoffs. They're going to be at home, when the brackets come out on Sunday, right?
Yeah, it is a shame. That's why I'm hoping that the NCS is serious about maybe this new format they're talking about next year, where teams can move down 2 divisions or they can move up 2 divisions, because that will end a good team not being able to make the playoffs. I mean, it would really be a shame, for instance, if California doesn't make it, even if they finish 5-5. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been a very good team. They're well coached. They have some good players. They've been competitive. I mean, they gave San Ramon Valley all it can handle before losing 14-0. They gave Pittsburg all it could handle before it lost 38-35. I mean, Pittsburgh California should be in the playoffs.
Right.
And if there's a format next year where they move down to Division II, that would be terrific. Let them play. I mean, that is a good football team. I'm not a proponent of letting teams that finish 3-7 go into the playoffs. I think if you win fewer than 4 games, you should stay home. Even to me, 4-6 is a stretch.
Right.
But okay,
I agree.
4-win team going, but not a team that wins 3 games. If you're 3-7, stay home, and if you had a real tough schedule, change your schedule next year a little bit.
And we're also not a proponent in this current model where the CCS is a complete competitive equity model, and there's flaws to that. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, but we're also not proponents, and we mentioned this last year. I'm sure we mentioned it the year before and 2 years before that when there were playoffs. Some of these lower divisions in the NCS where you've got teams that are ranked in the top 100 in CalPreps' computer rankings, a Marin Catholic, for instance, or Cardinal Newman in a good year. I mean, they're in a bracket with teams that are 600 or 700 in the computer rankings, or 500. There's no need for that, right? I mean, come on. I mean, as administrators and educators, they got to see that, and we can't have those matchups.
That reminds me, I'm looking at Max Preps right now. That last year's Marin Catholic Newark Memorial 69-0 first round matchup. That shouldn't happen.
Right.
I'm going to go back to what I've been saying forever, and I'll say it again. It's time to separate the public schools and the private schools. And I had a long talk with Coach Pappin at Santa Teresa before the season, and he talked about they scheduled Midi this year. And he said he wanted his kids to see what a program like that, what it's like. But, there's no point. Once league play begins, the public school should be in public school leagues and the private school should be in private school leagues, and it carries on to the playoffs. Maybe when I was in high school, there was no big difference between publics and private schools. But nowadays, there's a huge difference. Last week we got criticism because I said Serra might be the best Bay Area team of all time. Well, one of the things that's changed between 2001 and now is that you have a lot more Pacific Islanders playing at these schools, and they're very good players. They've made a very positive impact on the game, and they're very good players, and that has helped these teams. And you didn't have that as much, or like you pointed out, Darren, that maybe they were more spread out at different public schools, but now they are at a lot of the private schools. And those teams are really good. They have more depth than they did in 2001. I mean, I think that Cal Preps is way off the mark when you put the 2001 De La Salle and 2023 Serra teams in the thing last week, and Cal Preps said that
computer matchup
14. I mean, come on, who's kidding who? They wouldn't have beat that De La Salle team 42-14, but if they played 10 times over the course of a season, I think Serra would probably win 6 or 7 of those matchups.
Right. I mean, you've been pounding this. I mean, we've been pounding this even when I first started in this business 30 years ago, that privates and publics, major difference even then, even wider now. I mean, you can have different levels of private school divisions. You can have different levels of public school divisions. I mean, you would never put a Los Gatos or a Wilcox in with, some of the teams in the lower C or B leagues of the CCS. And, there's different levels of public school football, just as there is different levels of school football. And you can have great divisions in all of them, but it hasn't happened. Probably is not going to happen. And I'll be retired and probably long gone, and it probably will still be the same. So anyhow, you guys ready to get the picks? Week 11.
Yep, let's jinx them.
Let's jinx 16 more teams.
16 more teams. Fire up 16 others. You know what? I had a really bad week last week. I went 9-7.
I don't know. For me, that's just an average week.
You guys went 10-6. So Joseph, you've sliced one game off of your deficit. Now it stands at 18 games. Mike Lefkow still in contention at 7 games back. We're going to start off with a Thursday game. It's a rivalry game, Sequoia and Carmont. Both teams 3-6, but both teams very competitive 3-6s. This was a tough one to pick. I went with the home team, Carmont. Joseph, who you got?
Yeah, I've got Carmont too. They're on fire right now.
And Mike Lefkow?
Yeah, I went with the home team, Carmont.
All right. You know what? We had to juggle the time on this show this week, and I did not get the Cal Preps pick. Joseph Dycus, do you have the Cal Preps picks up?
Hold on. Let's see.
We'll go to game 2 on the list. We've got Clayton Valley on Friday. The Red Hot Ugly Eagles at 5-4. They've won a couple games in a row, including last week's big win at California. They're going to take on De La Salle. Spartans at 7-2. This is obviously senior night, I assume, at De La Salle. I got the Spartans winning, but I think this is going to be competitive. I think Clayton Valley's playing much better. But I see De La Salle knocking them off. That doesn't mean that Clayton Valley will not make the playoffs. I think they've already gotten in. Is that your sense, Mike Lefkow, that the Uglies will be in the playoffs even at 5-5?
Yeah, actually, what I did yesterday was I played with the Max Preps rankings based on that potential new format that NCS is discussing. And yeah, Clayton Valley in that format would be in the playoffs against De La Salle in the first round.
Really? Wow. We'd have a rematch in week 1 of the playoffs.
That's the way when I did it. I mean, and I'm not sure I did it 100% right, but at least the way I did it based on the rankings, that's how it would have come out.
Cal Preps is predicting, Joseph, why don't you call up the CCS ones, and I've got the NCS one on my phone. Cal Preps is predicting De La Salle to win 31-6 over.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Over Clayton. Who do you guys? You guys got De La Salle winning?
Yep.
I think that me picking Clayton Valley to win by 18 last year was probably one of the more infamous moments on this show since I came on.
That was printed out. That's that prediction and taped in the visiting locker room at Clayton Valley last year.
Yeah, you want to talk about bulletin board material? I supplied it. I'm not doing that again this year. I don't think they win 31-6. You said is the Cal Prep score.
That's the Cal Prep score.
I don't think it's going to be that, but I wouldn't be surprised honestly if it was something like 31-12.
Yep.
Also,
you're adding all 6 points for Clayton. Huh?
Sequoia is actually favored to beat Carmont 26-20.
Okay.
So
we're all going with the home team, Carmont. Game 3 on the list, Monte Vista, San Ramon. Senior night for San Ramon. The great class that includes quarterback Luke Baker. Got San Ramon winning, even though I think Monte Vista have a chance if it pulls off the upset, Mike Lefkow, to get in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think if they pulled off that upset, they would be 5-5. They might have a shot at it. Yeah, if Monte Vista wins this game, it's going to really mess up that Division I seeding. It's going to make it very tough.
Because right now, I mean, even the Pittsburg at 10-0, I would think San Ramon would be the 2 seed. Is that how you see it?
That's basically how I saw it. Yeah. Pittsburg would be the 3 seed.
All right. Who do you guys got? You got San Ramon?
Yes, I've got San Ramon.
Yeah, I'm taking San Ramon.
And Cal Preps is taking San Ramon 46-14. Piedmont Newark Memorial. Piedmont, what a great story.
Yes.
They didn't have a program. They lost it. Not enough numbers. And now all of a sudden they're going to potentially win this. Well, they've already clinched a tie for this MVAL WACC Shoreline Division Championship. They can win it outright with a win over Newark Memorial.
Well, not only that, they did beat Kennedy at Fremont too, so they might.
Right.
They might win it anyway.
Yep. Who do you guys got?
I'm going to go with Newark Memorial. I think the game being over there, Newark Memorial's got a pretty good team this year, so I'm picking Newark in a little bit of an upset.
Joseph?
I'm gonna pick Piedmont. I think they've got the team of destiny thing going this year, at least in the regular season.
I've got Piedmont winning too. I think it's going to be close, but I've got Piedmont winning, and Cal Preps takes Newark Memorial 24-23.
Toss up.
I think it'll be a good game.
Toss up. Granada, Livermore, the Battle of Livermore. Kamari Robinson, the fine yard producing running back at Livermore, against Mr. Boyd, quarterback at Granada. I got Livermore winning at home. Who you got, Joseph?
I've got Livermore winning too. I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game. I don't know what Cal Preps has, but I think both teams are going to score in the 30s.
Mike Lefkow?
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I'm going to go with Granada to win that one.
And Cal Prep says Granada 2, 31-24. All right, put that down there. Next game on the list, James Logan will be traveling to Hayward, short drive to play Moreau Catholic. Old Mission Valley Athletic League rivals now competing in the MVAL WACC Foothill Division. Logan wins this division outright with a win. Moreau creates at least a two-way tie, potentially a three-way tie, assuming Bishop O'Dowd wins atop the standings. So I got Logan winning. O'Dowd won big at Moreau. I think Moreau's playing better, but I still have Logan winning this game. Who do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, I've got Logan winning. I think they're on a roll right now, and they've got some talent on that team.
Mike Lefkow, who do you got winning this battle? Yeah, I agree. I think Logan's going to win. Jonathan Kraft, the quarterback, is starting to play really well. He's the quarterback who transferred from Valley Christian. His brother was at Logan, or is at Logan, and Kraft is really starting to look like a pretty good quarterback.
And Cal Prep says Logan wins 28-20. So barely close.
Yeah.
Moreau's got some talent. They could they're capable.
No doubt. All right, these next two games are going to decide the two spots for the BVAL Santa Teresa Valley Division. Leigh, Westmont, and Sabedra will finish with one loss in the division if they win. It's Leigh at Westmont, Sabedra at Overfelt. I'm waiting for a call from the commissioner of the BVAL to see. I did some looking through their bylaws, and I think Overfelt might get in if it wins two. Winning a tiebreaker, even it would be a three-way tie for second if Overfelt wins, and I think they may get the tiebreaker by virtue of their win over Westmont, assuming Westmont beats Leigh, but we'll see. Anyhow, Leigh at Westmont, winner goes in. Westmont is 7-8 against Leigh in the Max Preps era, but won last year 42-17. Leigh is a great team at home. They are not as great on the road. This is a short trip for them, but I'm taking Westmont to pull it off. Joseph, who you got?
I went back and forth on this one. I think Westmont wins in a really low-scoring game.
Mike Lefkow.
Yeah, I'm going with Westmont also. I don't know if it'll be a super low-scoring game, but it's not going to be a shootout.
As Cal Preps has Leigh winning 17-14.
Okay. Sabedra at Overfelt. Again, a lot on the line here. Noah Taylor, the fine running back at Sabedra, is well over 2,000 yards on the season. I went back and forth on this. I think if this were a Saturday afternoon game at Sabedra, I would take Sabedra, but it's not. It's at Overfelt. I'm going to go with Overfelt to beat Sabedra. Joseph, who you got?
Here's my chance to get a game on you. I'm going to take Sabedra. It seems like every time I check the roundup, Noah Taylor's run for 250 yards and like 3 touchdowns. So
yeah, it seems like every time I check the roundup, somebody for Overfelt's got like 20 tackles. So
that's true.
Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Overfelt. I think their defense is pretty good at Overfelt. And I mean, Taylor might have a great game, but I like that Overfelt defense.
He had 250 yards last week, Joseph, and they still only scored 13.
Yeah.
But again, this could go either way.
Cal Preps has Sabedra winning a high-scoring 34-31 game.
Wow. All right.
That could happen, but that Overfelt defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
This is the West Valley Division Championship game. The next one on our list, Del Mar 6-3 at Prospect 8-1. Joseph Dycus, you're going to be at this game, giving some love to the BVAL West Valley Division. I'd like to see how these teams have done in league. They both score a lot, I think. I got Prospect winning at home to go to 9-1. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with Prospect also. I think they're a little better team.
Joseph.
Yeah, if this game was being played at Del Mar, I'd take Del Mar, but I'm going to go with the home team with Prospect. Cal Preps has Prospect winning 31-26. So I'm hoping to see that kind of game on a Friday night.
You might.
Next one on the list. This is a PAL Bay Division game where Los Gatos can win the division outright with a win. They're going to be at home to play Menlo Atherton. MA's 4-5. Los Gatos is 7-2. Los Gatos coming off the win, the dramatic win over Wilcox on the road last week. If Los Gatos stumbles, Wilcox and Los Gatos will share the Bay Division title. I don't want to jinx anybody. I think MA is playing better, but I'm not going to take MA. I'm going to take Los Gatos to win, to go to 8-2. So they can't say I always pick against them. I'm picking them to win this week. Joseph, who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking Los Gatos. Like you said, Menlo Atherton's played a lot better than they were early in the year, but Los Gatos, I think they're going to win pretty comfortably.
Mike Lefkow.
Yep, I think the Cats are going to assure their spot in the Division One playoffs and CCS and
Open Division One.
Open Division One.
But
among the top 8 teams, and they're gonna win.
What does Cal Prep say, Joseph?
Ooh, they're saying Los Gatos 35, MA 8.
8? Wow.
8.
Okay.
So they think they'll make the 2-point conversion. That's nice.
They're going to have a big night on senior night. This next one was tough. Valley Christian Midi. They play competitive games typically, I think. Both teams 5-4. Both teams on the bubble of Division One, Open Division One, could go Division Two. I think the path, if either one of these teams is in Division Two, I think that they could be like a Bellarmine or SI from last season. Yeah. Bellarmine won Division Two CCS and went on to go to a state championship game. I got Valley winning this one, but man, it could be really close. Joseph, who you got?
And this is a toss-up. Midi's playing a home game
at Foothill College.
I've seen Midi. Maybe it's some bias, not bias, but I've seen them play twice now in person. I'm impressed with how well coached Midi is. Obviously, Valley Christian is extremely well coached too, but I think Midi wins a 17-14 kind of game.
Mike Lefkow.
Yeah, for once, Joseph and I are going to agree.
Hey, let's go.
Low-scoring game, and I think Midi is going to pull it out.
Wow. You know who doesn't agree with us, though? Cal Preps. Cal Preps has Valley Christian winning 21-14.
I could see that.
I could too.
That's not a bad prediction.
I could see that. That's the kind of game I see.
I think we've gotten to the point in the season where Cal Preps, they have enough of a sample size where the scores are more believable. Early in the year, Cal Preps would be like 57-12. Would be like,
right. Next one, the Valpo Bowl. These teams are next door neighbors on Valparaiso Avenue in Atherton. We're Sacred Heart Prep at 5-4. Gonna try to spoil Menlo School's perfect season. The Knights are 9-0. I am becoming a believer in the Knights, the De Anza Division champions of the PAL. I have the Knights winning to go to 10-0. Mike Lefkow, do you agree?
Yeah, I'm picking Menlo. They've been pretty good this year, and I think they'll complete it.
Joseph.
You know, I'm going to go with the minor upset. I think Sacred Heart Prep is going to win. And again, I keep saying it, another low-scoring game. I think they're going to pull off the upset. Although it wouldn't be a huge upset, I don't think.
No,
I mean,
they seem rivals, and
rivals.
Sacred Heart was in the higher division with Los Gatos and Wilcox. Who does Cal Preps have?
So Cal Preps agrees with me. They've got Sacred Heart Prep winning 22-17.
Whoa, okay.
Wow.
The Little Big Game. This is a Saturday morning game, traditional game, Berlin game, which has had the upper hand over San Mateo for a number of years. We looked it up. This series started in 1927. So 4 more years till the 100th anniversary of the series. I went back and forth on this. Normally, San Mateo doesn't have much of a shot. I think they have a shot in this game. They're at home. I'm going to go with San Mateo to win the Little Big Game over Berlin game. Joseph, who you got?
I have got San Mateo too, and I do have a quick question. Says here they're playing at 11 a.m. Is that a traditional thing?
That is true.
Yeah,
That
they
is a
always play at
traditional
that
thing.
time, yeah.
11 a.m. on the final Saturday of the season.
Interesting.
All right. I mean, there's a lot of pageantry at this game. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
I'm going to go with Burlingame.
Okay.
Has that always been called the Little Big Game?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because I always thought St. Mary's in Santa Clara was a Little Big Game.
Oh, that's college.
Yeah,
That's
but
college.
it's unusual.
High school. Little Big Game. Who does Cal Preps have?
San Mateo 24, Burlingame 21.
Wow. All right. Now we're on to the big Little Game. Also Saturday, 1:30. They've moved this game back to Saturday after a few years of playing it on Fridays. It'll be Pittsburg at home, going for a 10-0 regular season, which Coach Charlie Ramirez, I mean, we got to tip our cap to Charlie. Coming in, taking over for Vic Galley, and he has the Pirates on the verge of a 10-0 season. Not bad.
This would be their first undefeated, perfect regular season in a full season since the 1960s, from what I understand.
Wow. And
Charlie Ramirez thought it was 1964, but he wasn't sure. But it's never happened in the Max Preps era. They did go 5-0 in the pandemic-shortened season.
In the spring 2021 season.
Right.
But they're going to have to get past Antioch, 7-2 Antioch. I think Pittsburgh gets it done. I see the Pirates going to 10-0 and going into the playoffs. Joseph, who you got?
I have the Pirates winning as well. I remember I covered the game last year. Expected to see a big game from Jaden Rashada, and ended up watching Marley Alcantara throw for, I believe it was 6 touchdowns in that game. That was kind of his coming out party. So we'll see what this week brings.
Mike Lefkow.
I'm going to go with the Pirates. They're always tough in this game, especially when the game's at Pittsburgh.
Cal Preps has what? Oh, I have to look it up here on my phone here. Bay Valley League, Saturday. 44-20 Pittsburgh. That sound about right?
I'm not sure about that, but I do agree with them. I do agree that Pittsburgh will win.
All right. We're back to 2 more Friday games. The last 2 on the list. We've been talking about this game for a while. The BVAL Mountain Hamilton division has had 2 undefeated teams going at it for most of the year, and they're still undefeated. It'll be Live Oak at 8-0, traveling the short distance from Morgan Hill over to Gilroy to play Christopher at 9-0. I went back and forth on this. I'm going Christopher, just I guess because they're at home. But it could go either way. Taking Christopher. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
I'm going to go with Live Oak. I think Live Oak's got a nice team this year.
They do. No doubt about it.
Man, I keep agreeing with Mike Lefkow. I'm taking Live Oak too.
You guys are gonna.
But you know who
potentially.
You know who doesn't agree with us is Cal Preps. They've got Christopher winning 27-21.
All right.
I think a lot of the picks we made this week are opposite what Cal Preps has.
Mm-hmm.
The last game on the list, Acalanes is a team that Joseph saw last week. I'm going to be here. It's going to be in Lafayette. I saw the game last year. It was really close. Acalanes could have won, but Campo won a close one. Going to be going up against old nemesis Campolindo. Acalanes wins the outright Diablo Athletic League Foothill Division with a win. They lose. Campo and Acalanes tie. Could be a three-way tie if Las Lomas beats Miramone. I think this senior class at Acalanes gets it done. I'm going to take Acalanes to knock off Campo, which if Mike Lefkow and I have been talking off air, Campo could be in trouble if it doesn't win this game, right? In division, they might not get in.
That's another team that could be on the bubble if
Logan wins.
Well, the way when I kind of sorted it out last night, in the new format that they adopted, Campo would drop to Division 2. And
there
they
you
would
go.
get in the playoffs, no problem. But they could be on the bubble pretty seriously if they lose this game.
They don't get this game.
Because it would be their third loss, wouldn't it?
They'd fall to 6-3-1.
And that's that's unfair. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
That's not right.
Well, it's also unfair that they're in Division 1. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, they should be a Division 2 team.
They should top out at Division 2.
Right. I mean, if you look at their attendance compared to the other schools in that division,
right.
They're even small. The only school they actually have more kids in is De La Salle. De La Salle is all boys.
Yeah.
If you double De La Salle, they're comfortably ahead of Campolindo.
Well, that's what they do in the CCS. They double Bellarmine's enrollment. Bellarmine always is listed as like 3,300 students or 3,200 students, but it's 16 times 2 because it's all boys. So it's not. They're not in there with the schools that have 1,600.
Well, the NCS might do that as well, but the way the NCS sets up their, they're basing it on 3 years history and all this and all that. And anyway, Campolindo should not be in Division 1. Simple as that.
Well, let's get back to our picks. I got Acalanes winning. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
I got Acalanes winning.
I've got Acalanes winning, and I think it's, again, maybe I wouldn't say if I was going to be there, but I think it's going to be something crazy like 42-35. I think it's going to be Acalanes wins a high-scoring shootout.
Yeah. I think it's going to be high scoring too. It's my pick. I have to look and see who Cal Preps has here. Let's see. Friday game. Diablo Hill. They've got Acalanes winning 31-20.
I think it's going to be a little higher scoring than that. I agree with Joseph. That Acalanes receiver score is really good.
Yes, they are. And that's Sully Bailey. He can throw the ball.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else to add, guys? I mean, obviously, send in your Athlete of the Week nomination to high schools at areanewsgroup.com. Sign up for a digital subscription for our playoff coverage, which will be starting on Sunday as we discuss the matchups and the things we learned and blah blah blah. So lot happening, and we're going to be transitioning soon into basketball, so be on the lookout for our basketball rankings and all that other good stuff. Anything else to add, Joseph?
I'll echo what Darren said. Please send in your Athlete of the Week nominations, boys and girls, and also give a shout out to our former sports clerk Jesus Cano, who's covering the World Series right now for the MajorLeagueBaseball.com up in Arizona.
MLB.com, correct. No doubt about that. Also talked to our former colleague, Alex Simon, yesterday. He's doing well at his new job over at SF Gate. He said he told you, Joseph, I think he told you that Valley would keep it close against Serra.
He did. I didn't believe him, and he sent me when I was covering Acalanes Las Lomas, he sent me a tweet where it was just a link to it. I think it was the 14-13 Serra. No comment or anything. It's just that tweet. And I was like, okay, I see what you're doing.
There you go. Well, he and I talked yesterday. We want to give him a shout out for that.
Yes.
Mike Lefkow, any closing thoughts?
No, not really. I'm just looking forward to seeing how the matchups will be for the playoffs.
There we go. All right, everyone. Have a good one.